Hello everyone, welcome back to Funk and Focus, Dance and Dialogue, the Boogaloo Tradition podcast. I am Jonas, Funk and Focus fam from Austria. Today we have got a special guest from the East Coast, a true pioneer in liquid dance and a master of digits, finger tutting and popping. Let's give it up for the one and only dstrangeci.
How's everybody doing? Thank you for having me on here. Much appreciated.
Yeah.
Looking forward.
Yeah, thank you for being here and taking the time to talk. How are you doing these days?
I'm doing good, man. Staying busy. Got working, family life, trying to get the dancing in when I can. Keeping the passion alive for it. And yeah, living life.
Nice. That's good to hear. So let's dive into it. How did you get into street dance, and where were you at these times?
Okay, so yeah, I started back in about 1997. I started. I got into liquid first. Was the first like street dance or club dance that I seen that I really grabbed my attention and got me into this style of dancing, taking it really seriously. I remember seeing my friend who became my crewmate in the Liquid Pop Collective, Fu Manchu, for the first time. That's where I first saw high level liquid. That really grabbed my attention. Again, like I said, it was 1997. This was during like the end or the beginning of the end of the first rave scene back in the 90s, which started back in like 1993 in the UK. So yeah, that really, once I saw it, I was like, the first time I saw it, I was like, I have to learn how to do that. What is that? I really was, captivated by the illusion of it, the athleticism of it. From there, I got into from liquid tutting also, because Fu was also getting into tutting. Tutting was having a big kind of resurgence, and funk styles in general was starting to have like a little bit of resurgence after I feel like a lull where people weren't really into it. Thanks to people like Mr. Wiggles and Mr. Wiggles putting out his VHS tapes back in the day. He had like a whole bunch of them. He had a whole tutting volume that was essential for anybody that was into tutting at the time. If you talk to any high-level tutter from the 90s or the early 2000s, they're going to say they had that tape or they saw that tape. So that was essential. And then from there, I got into Digitz, which was also going around during the rave scene. So those are my three first kind of loves for dance. And then after that, I started diving into all different kind of funk styles that, got my interest, from animation to boogaloo to robot, definitely into botting a lot, and waving, of course, waving.
Nice. So all these different dance styles you mentioned, like you represent like mix in your dance and put them like all together.
Yes, yeah. That was a big thing. That was a big thing for myself, especially, but also my whole crew back in the day. Originally, that's why we were called the Liquid Pop Collective.
Mm.
Not because there's such a thing called liquid popping, but we were doing liquid and popping and mixing them, together. The key to that, though, or the key, like anytime you're gonna mix like two different styles of dance together, you got to have a good foundation or a decent foundation in both if you want to, cross and make like some kind of hybrid version of both of them.
Nice. I understand. So what are these intersections of popping and liquid? Like
So,
are
like,
there? Yeah.
good question. Like I said, so in our late 90s, I feel like popping was having like a resurgence, a lot of interest in it, people getting back into it. With groups like the Electric Boogaloos, and you had these young crews coming out like Motion Sickness and the Animated Beat Mechanics, ABM. So the rave scene, like I was talking about, and like the club scene in the late 90s was a spot where a lot of people getting into these popping styles would go to, even if they weren't really into the rave scene or like a raver per se. And so you would see a lot of times at these big parties in these ciphers, liquid heads, digit heads, people doing tutting, some people breakdancing, some people doing some popping, roboting. So it was a good spot because it would be good dance music to dance to. They'd be going on for like 10, 11 hours, the party. So if you
Mm.
were into those dance styles, it was a perfect spot to go. So you would see some, really good poppers at some of these parties. I remember a couple of parties back in the day. I went to one up in Boston. I saw Shallow for the first time get down, who was a legendary OG popper from Boston. I used to hear stories about him before that, but it was the first time I saw him. A guy 3D, who was one of his students, was there. Another, popper from Boston, and really sick cobra, great waving. So yeah, you would catch some poppers out there, along with a lot of the liquid heads that were, at the time getting that dance going and bringing, the foundation to that, cementing it kind of which what my crew kind of did, the Liquid Pop Collective, putting our video out. We put terms to all these different foundational moves for Liquid and an instructional video how to do that for that in the beginning of Digitz.
So you said like in the early 90s, like those rave.
Of the late 90s, like 97 was when I started going to parties, but the rave itself started back in like 92, 93.
Yeah.
UK, believe, came to the East Coast, then to the West Coast, or maybe it went to the West Coast first and then came to the East Coast. But yeah, I got involved about 97, where it was pretty much, starting to, be really popular. And then by 2000, it was mainstream, and then kind of died out and kind of had a resurgence, or I guess reborn as the EDM scene later, like at 2009, 10. And that's when you had a big switch to where it was still kind of like a rave, but it was more like a festival where you're looking at a stage, with a big stage presence, which wasn't kind of the vibe I've seen, but, to each his own.
Nice. So then like at these parties, like all the dancers with all these different backgrounds, like coming together.
Yeah. So, like I said, if you were into these different styles, it would be a good place to go, practice your skills, have a good time, listen to a lot of good music. So at these parties, there would be lots of people just dancing regularly, or doing what they would call like the raver candy stop. But there'd be various like circles or ciphers, as you see in most dance events. And in those ciphers, you would see a mix of liquid heads going at it, break dancers, some house dancers, various popping styles. I remember seeing that when I started, a lot of people were into like strobing, ticking, animation like that. You would see waving a little bit, not so much waving, a lot of tutting though. Like I said, tutting was really having like a moment in the late 90s. Again, thanks to people like Mr. Wiggles, who I definitely look up to, big inspiration, because after Liquid and Digitz, tutting I would say is my favorite, the dance style, popping style. So yeah, Mr. Wiggles really helped out with that. And then, like I said, you had people like Junior Boogaloo really coming into his own in the late 90s, great tutter. Mr. Steen from the UK was really starting to, come into his own, was now a huge name in tutting. And then you had a lot of people inspired from that, like from my age and my generation, who are now, big time tutters who are awesome from that era. And a lot of them did start, I think, again, like myself, maybe going to a lot of parties and raves. I believe Funk and Focus, Future, my man Ryan, he started in the late 90s. I believe he started raves here and there. And I know he was definitely probably inspired by that tutting tape, Mr. Wiggles, and that he's become huge. I mean, look, he's become one of my favorite tutters. He started around the same time as me, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like he started like first like with breaking and then got into popping, and
Yeah.
like is very open to all these different styles, and
got it all in his bag. He's got juking, he's got,
yeah.
glides.
So when we were like putting like all these words in different dance styles, like I saw like in some of your videos, like you were like mentioning like hand styles. Like, is hand styles like a mix of digits, finger tutting, and liquid? Like,
Yeah, that's what I would definitely consider hand styles. Just not just liquid. I would say like digital liquid, what they call it, which is just them. You're doing liquid with the fingers, with the digits going with it. But definitely is the main finger or hand style. That was the first one I saw, and one of the members of my crew, Jared, aka Code Red, is the guy who really like put that on the scene and added all these foundational stuff that people still do today, who are involved with Digitz, or the grandchild of Digitz, gloving, you know what I'm saying, which takes a whole bunch of stuff from Digitz, and finger tutting. Finger tutting. I mean, I was the first, I believe, I saw do it. I started that in 1998. And I was just mixing kind of, because I said like my love of tutting, which I was really getting heavy into, along with liquid and digits, and the foundational stuff I was learning with digits. So I was just mixing that together, doing, you know, the same idea you would do with tuts, boxes. I was doing a lot of, you know, inside boxes, multiple ones, messing with triangles, you know, stuff like that. That was my original beginning of finger tutting. And then from there, a guy I used to see out at these parties all the time who was dancing for a very long time, Tiny Love, he started stuff, and he had his own kind of like character stuff going on, and he was doing like finger stuff, face tuts. He was definitely the first guy to do that stuff before that had a resurgence. But he took some of my ideas and then he created a lot of the stuff that people see today in finger tutting, from that basic pose of like that, he called it the video game kind of, you know, the guys took that further. So shout out to Tiny, big name in the finger tutting game. And then I remember soon after we started, I saw first guy I saw like on the West Coast really kill it, and a guy who you got to give props always because he really made it go further out there, the dance style. Jay Smooth, props to Smooth. He was in. I remember at the end of one of those Step Up movies, they gave him like the credit scene where he's sitting on a chair doing a bunch of finger tuts. So cool guy, great guy. I met him once, and when he came out to New York City. So props to Jay Smooth. So yeah, that was like the beginning of finger tutting, which
Nice.
has gone further now. Like you were showing, like clusters. You got all
Yeah.
these crazy cool crews have taken it a lot further, like Finger Circus, and you know, seeing people online all the time, always liking videos of these new cats. Like, oh, that's crazy. But
Nice.
how far it's come from where we started with digits and, you know, finger tutting.
So maybe you can also, or I would like to ask you to give like a little explanation, or like what exactly is the difference between like digits, finger tutting, and liquid?
Okay. All right. So liquid, I believe, would be the first to come in like chronological order. And liquid is originally was a movement probably at the raves people were doing with glow sticks. They would have two glow sticks and they were doing this like circular orbital move, which is now known as orbital liquid. So that would probably be the beginning of liquid. And eventually people got rid of the glow sticks and added what we would say like a hand wave into there or a hand flow. So then the liquid became like that, doing that orbital with the hand flow. Then other concepts were added to it, like rails, where you are making the shape of a geometrical shape and trying to trace it with your liquid, but still keeping the hand flow, really selling the illusion. There was other stuff, was etherical, where you're doing like kind of like making like a DNA strand with your flow. All different kind of concepts got added to it. So that's liquid, kind of creating a hand flow, moving it around, creating illusions, using it to more move your body, contours. That was like contours, similar to like a trace wave, but a contour you don't ever stop with the liquid, but you can trace your whole body with it, you know, move it around, stuff like that. So so like I said, that the basics of that probably started at the beginning of the rave scene. No one knows who's the first one to do like the real new school or the newer concepts of the liquid, but like that movement, that probably was back in the UK in 93 or 94. The liquid that's now known as liquid, we believe started like 94, 95, maybe 96. Person who taught me, Fu, and the guy who's probably most known, another crew member of mine, Liquid Pop Eric. They started around 94, 95, and they were taught by some people that had skills too. So there was people before them. Digits came out later. That was created, like I said, the originator was in my dance crew. His name was Jared Huck. Code Red was his dance name. Him and his friends, they all had like different color names before he became part of our crew. He was residing in New Jersey, but partied in New York City a lot. This club called The Tunnel, a famous New York City nightclub. So yeah, Code Blue, Code Red, these guys. And this guy Mario was the guy that kind of started the basics of digits by doing like finger rolls and these really small little moves or moving the finger one by one. But Jared took that and like just took it so much further. So I guess like Mario's the godfather. Hello? I lost you
Yeah,
for a second. Yeah, I'm back. So,
nice.
all right. Let's continue from there.
Just from Mario.
Yeah. So Mario was probably the godfather who started the basics of it, but the real father, the guy that did the most with it and got it going, and now is like the basis of all these new styles, is Code Red Jared. So Jared is the first to do finger waves, making the illusional finger waves that you see all through Digits now, and you see through
Mm,
gloving. You see a lot of waivers doing it. You see a lot of people like that, underhand ones. You can just keep it going, big, small, just intricate, just learning how to isolate your fingers one after one to sell the illusion. He's the first one to
nice.
do mirror, making a mirror picture of your other hand doing the same movement. And then if you ever cross that, he used to call that braiding, when you braid your fingers together. All right. He did hides, one of my favorite digit moves of all time. So many, combinations you could do, so many different paths where you're making the optical illusion. Again, doing that same movement, isolating your fingers, but the other hand, you are hiding parts of it to make it like
Mm,
different. Uh, my friend Sammy, another member of the LPC, Ben Grimm, shout out to him. He used to do this sick one where he used to just hide his whole arm, like do a trace wave and come back out and make it look like he made his arm disappear. See a lot of people do that down the line. Sammy was the one that invented that, though. So that's Digits. And then when those two worlds came together, which they were already right next to each other in the rave scene, that's where you have now, like I said, digital liquid, where you see a lot of the people doing stuff now, the newer school heads, where it's just they're doing liquid, which is awesome, and they're just adding this really complicated digital kind of hand flow to really make it even more, illusional or tripped out. And then, like we discussed before, finger tutting came right with that. People like myself, then Tiny Love, then people on the West Coast like Jay Smooth, Tetris, shout out to Tetris, and then so forth from there. So that was kind of the chronological of those dance styles, and then years
nice.
later, that like I said, after the rave scene ended, years later you had like kind of resurgence, like gloving, which took the place of digits, I guess.
So what I know about gloving is like, as the word itself, like it's also like part in the rave scene, and you have like gloves, and they're like lights
Yeah,
on the fingers,
yeah.
and it's like also very
Yeah,
forward and back. Like you're like
it
really.
seems like a lot of it has to be at the right angle. You have to and you have to have the gloves on to make it look, tripped out. Hey, I've seen some cool stuff with it here and there. It's not my thing, but like I said, to each his own. Do you? But I'd rather have just no gloves and make
Mm,
people think they're tripping when they're not, but because your hands are doing something really illusional. I think it's from any and looks good from any angle. But that's to each his own.
nice. Um, so like with gloving, like do you want to give like shout outs to like some people or like?
And like I don't know much about. I see it all the
Mm-hmm.
time. I'm not big into the gloving scene, so I don't know really much of the big guys. I mean, I love a lot of the new school finger tutting and digits guys I see out there. And like I said before, shout out to the crew. I mean, they're not even new school anymore, but they're new school when I saw them first, the finger circus guys, my man Strobe, Jay Funk, who actually was hilarious, became the choreographer for the movie Doctor Strange. So he
Mm-hmm.
choreographs the hand movements of Doctor Strange, a guy I named myself after like 28 years ago, created a style that's helping the character I named myself. That's what's bonkers to me, but cool guy, great guy. Those guys are all awesome, and they're definitely great with that. The finger styles. C Tut again, the face tuts, sick. Um, yeah, I see a lot of people online. What's the guy? This guy in Australia or New Zealand. He's sick with the finger tuts. Said Pix. I forgot his name, but he's really good. And they're just people
Like
doing crazy stuff.
fractile?
Fractile, that's the
Yeah.
guy. Is nuts. I remember when he first came out, I judged one of the online things that he was in, and he was dope. He was really every round killing it. So yeah, shout out to those guys. the liquid and digit world, which I'm involved in still. There's a lot of guys killing it still. My man Tommy Flowington, one of the sickest liquid guys ever out of Chicago. You got my man Verb from Tennessee, sick liquid. My man Matt Yum from Baltimore, young cat, sick with the liquid, sick with the digits. He's got a lot of good digit stuff. So yeah, my man Scotty Distortion, another guy from Chicago. Been doing it a minute with the liquid. Is one of the best to do it. And yeah. Oh, and Riz. Look up my girl Riz. She's also my crew Chronic Gill. Probably the nastiest female finger artist heads of all time. She's so good. She take a lot of that she started a long time ago because she learned under multiple like OG people. She worked with Tiny for a while. She learned from Hadouken. Shout out to Hadouken. Another great very important finger stylist and great liquid guy. Hadouken, look him up.
Nice, definitely Google and look up all these names. I will do after.
You guys are great.
And like you said, like you were like also like are a member of the Liquid Pop Collective, and
I was
Originator, yeah.
First three members were me, Sammy, or four members, me, Sammy, my boy Fu, who taught me originally, and Eric right after we met him. And then we added Jared and my man Frequency, who was one of the sickest wavers to this day, even if he doesn't even dance anymore. That guy, look him up. Cleanest waver of all time. And a few other members down the line. But yeah, we were only around for like 3.5 years, 4 years, but we did we put this tape out that did inspire a lot of people and got the word out about liquid and digits. And I mean, I don't really promote myself anymore or anything. I still people years later talking about the Liquid Pop Collective. So it must have did something. So yeah.
And for you, like, did you get the opportunity for like some jobs, or did like also like people recognize you back then?
Yeah, back then with the Liquid Pop Collective, we did make some money. We had some gigs we used to do like almost every week at this very famous club, Club Motion, or Club Space, it used to be called then, Motion, in Philadelphia, where we got paid to be there. Eric, Liquid Pop Eric, who really did a lot of the production and put his own money in to make those tapes, made a lot of money back, because it sold a lot. After the LPC broke up, I got jobs teaching a lot. I worked in a school for a while. I worked in an after-school program making money, teaching kids how to do funk styles, liquid digits. I've gotten some jobs here and there. I haven't really, like I said, promoted myself, trying to go like full force with dancing, trying to make money. I'm thinking about maybe going into the future with some projects to do that, maybe some online, some in person, but we're looking into that. My passion for the dance never ended though. Even when the LPC broke up, I kept dancing, learning, always trying to learn, see what's going on, get better, get down with the best. I started another crew, Chronic Illness, which had a couple of members in the LPC and some other people that I mentioned before, Verb, Riz, and again, similar kind of crew, liquid, digits, popping, various funk styles.
So for how long was the LPC?
LPC was only around from like 1999, 2000 to like 2004. Yeah. And then people went their separate ways. It was like people went their separate ways for a while and then formed two different crews that were constructed of different members of the LPC. You had the Dark Matter squad based out of Philly and Baltimore. And that had Liquid Pop Eric in it. That had another LPC member named Relic. And that had Code Red in it. All right. Then you had my crew, Chronic Illness, which had Fu Manchu involved for a little bit with it. And then another LPC member, Flex Luther, who's like the last member to join LPC. And we started that crew and then added some more people. We had actually you can look this up, that we had a great like showcase battle, 2-on-2, where it was me and Flex Luther versus Code Red and Tiny Love in a huge club for one of their events. Dark Matter used to throw really dope parties actually out of this club, Paradox in Baltimore. So shout out the Dark Matter squad, which now has been reconstructed and pretty much all based in Japan, which is dope. They got a really dope squad in Japan. Dark Matter Japan, led by one of my favorite of all time, Liquid Kevin. Shout out to my boy Liquid Kevin, Japan OG at this point. He's one of my favorite Mount Rushmore of liquid heads. Very, very dope liquid dancer.
Nice. So I think like with there's also like Nari Digitz, like is also I saw him like also on Instagram. Nari Digitz?
Oh, Nari's the man. Nari is sick, dude. And Ryogo. Like I said, that whole crew I like, even the new guys. But yeah, I've chilled with Nari and those guys a couple of times. Nari is dope. I would judge one of his first American contests he entered. I think actually he was in the finals with my girl Riz. One of the Dark Matter events. It was a fingerstyle event, and it was the finals was Riz and him, and he won. Very, very. Yeah, he's a great guy. Dope dancer. Very original. Started a lot of stuff. Like those guys have been around for a minute now, and they're inspiring. I can see a whole bunch of people doing a lot of their stuff. You could tell where, that's what the great thing about these dance styles. You can always kind of tell, oh, you watch that guy a lot, or you kind of got a little bit of that guy in you, which is, you got to be inspired, but you got to also do your own thing. You got to take what people have and make it your own. I remember I took a course with Mr. Wiggles back in the day, and that was stress, which is, always stuck with me. Because if not, you're just a clone, or you're just biting,
So like talking about Mr. Wiggles and like popping, so like now are there some popping dancers who use like liquids nowadays? Like are there some
There's a ton now. Back then, first it was funny because when we came out the LPC and liquid was starting to pick up the steam in the late 90s, early 2000s, there was kind of a pushback against it, saying it's just waving, it's not its own dance, you're just, wavers. And there was people arguing online about it all the time, which I used to laugh, whatever. But now it's come full circle where the waving community, especially, which is having a real big moment the last 4 years, 3-4 years, has embraced liquid and wants to learn it, and it wants to learn the right way, and wants to learn the history, and which is great. And they understand it's its own thing. They're not pushing against it. So yeah, there's tons of people I see now. A lot of people I see out of Eastern Europe. My man Liquid, I believe out of Germany. He is like killing and waving and using a lot of liquid in his dance. He won one of the biggest waving competitions in America a couple of years back, Waves Within. And again, using a lot of liquid. One of my favorite dancers, period, in the funk styles, D-Soul, who I got to hang out with a couple of times. He actually came out to a liquid event in 2018, Confluence in Tennessee, and chilled with us chilled with the whole liquid community for 3 days and was loving it. So I see him doing a lot of liquid now, but he is just sick in everything. I love that. That guy popping, tutting, waving, his scarecrow. Got it. He's one of the best, I feel, in the world. So I see him doing liquid. I just see people doing it a lot now, which is very dope. I'm glad that people are embracing it. I'm glad the waving community has embraced it, because for a while people thought it was going to maybe go away. Wasn't too much, people, a new school come in, the old heads are still, doing their thing, but they're only going to be around so much. But you have a resurgence now with people with interest. You have people teaching online, people in other countries teaching in person. You have a lot of people I just mentioned starting to teach again. You got my friend Tommy and Scotty in Chicago doing classes and sessions, which is great. I'm looking to get back into it, hopefully soon, teaching and trying to spread it. And yeah, it's a good thing, man. It's a good thing.
Yes, nice. Like shout out to the Tie Together collective. Like they're like waving dancers like Ease and Volt, Momo, and they're like also promoting like waving in Germany. And like Liquid, like he's now based in Paris, and like he's also a French guy.
Okay. He's dope. I remember, and when he first, was a few years back, he used to hit me up on Instagram asking for like some advice and stuff. He's really, again, he's embraced it, and he's not just some guy doing it just to add a little something to his waving. He trying to learn how to do. He can just do liquid too, which I like. I like someone who can. Oh, you can show me waving, great, and you can show me you can do straight liquid, and how you combine both. That's awesome. because
Nice.
you want to have a, like I stressed before, in both.
So also like in end of June there in Berlin, there's gonna be like Saturday waving battle, and the day before there's also like liquids and I think fretting categories. So
Yeah, it's awesome, man. I love it. I gotta get my stuff going again and maybe get out. I want to get out there, man. I want to get out to Europe and I want to get out to definitely Japan and get down with these scenes because it seems like that's where a lot of the interest is.
and I think like also as you mentioned, like nowadays people like are more aware about liquid and like are interested in the history, and I feel like people are like aware of like more the different styles and like popping,
Yeah.
waving, tutting, animation, like to they study like the differences, but also somehow they like to combine and like all these
Oh,
different traditions.
yeah, they come from. I say this all the time. They come waving and liquid. They come from completely different worlds, different foundations, and different like music scene, different culture. But they're like distant cousins somehow because they go obviously, I guess, with the movements of both dance so well together. You know, because
Hmm.
waving body into liquid, or it looks like liquid's going through you, and liquid is like controlling liquid and also mixing liquid through you. So they both kind of very go well together. But liquid, I love also. I try to stress, and I take the great quote from Bruce Lee, where he says, "Be like water." Because liquid is a kind of dance which I love about it. That like if you have the foundations of it, it can turn into anything. You can add it with anything. It's not every I feel dance style does you can do that. Liquid is one of them. Animation's another one where if you're good at it and good at whatever, you can add it to anything. I've seen crumpers add it, make their dance better to me by adding animation. You know, you can add that if you're good at it to anything. Liquid is dance like that. I've seen people do liquid boogaloo. I've seen people do liquid mixed with like robot kind of an animation feel. I have like a style where I do like liquid tuts. It's like a
Mm.
follow on the grid, doing different shapes, but I have like this orbital flow, which I could always stop and go into some boxes or more liquid. You know, if you have the foundations, you have a good understanding of how both dances work, the concepts involved, you can really, again, and that's what I love about these dances. The possibilities are endless. You know,
Mm. So maybe you can give like um, another shot like for how do you systemize like your like these styles together like how,
it's a for me personally, it's a combination. Like I like to sometimes just put on music and just freestyle and just dance and see what I can come out with. And if I something like takes my, I film myself a lot too. I do that always back in the day. If I'm practicing, I'll practice for an hour or two, and then I'll give my mind. I'm going to do a waving set now, or I'm going to do a waving liquid set. I'll film it, critique it, watching myself, critique it, whatever. And if I like it, I put it on my little Instagram page, so
mm,
you see me dance. But yeah, so but also back in the day when I first started, you do have to do foundational stuff. Like I used to practice when I first started popping, just Fresno in my room, popping, practicing hitting. I used to practice floats just to move my feet, get used to that. When I was trying to learn leg work more, I practiced boogaloo rolls. You can't just do that. You got to kind of mix both together. And obviously, it's especially in this stage, which a lot of people don't do. The key, if you really want to get better, I feel in any dance, you got to go out in real life and find other people, mostly try to find people better than you or high level, and take courses from people that are good. I've taken many popping courses, not like some people every week or every month, but when a good one comes around back in the day, I've taken ones from Slim Boogie, Bionic Man. I've taken classes with Pop and John, 4-hour boot camp with Mr. Wiggles. You know, you learn from the best. You go for people better than you. It's going to make yourself better. And also, you have to get used to just going out in a live cipher in front of
mhm.
people. A lot different than being a bedroom dancer, like we used to call bedroom DJ or bedroom dancer. You could kill it in your bedroom. Everybody can. But when people are watching you, it's different. It's not the song you put on yourself. You got to learn how to, dance to all different kind of music. But that's how I used to practice and get down. It's a
Mm,
combination of everything. And myself, I like to go by. you know, I read the book, The Zen Mind, The Beginner's Mind back in the day, and it's like, always be a student, have a student's mind always. I see all the best dancers, the ones above me, they're always like that. From Mr. Wiggles, what you're just talking about, to people like Money B, people like all these people stay good, and they always stay because they open their mind to the younger generation or different concepts that was after them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I'm just curious because you mentioned like it's so important to get out to meet people and like not only learn like from specific people you mentioned, but also like do something like how like is there like a change nowadays than it was like in the 90s? Like do you have the same experience
Oh
now?
no, it's well, 'cause remember when I started in this dance, the internet just kind of came out. It was it was just made. There was very few dance clips you could find online. So you had, if you wanted to see new like people's other styles, or you would hear stories about people before you would see them. Like I said, I
Mm.
heard so many about this guy Shallow before I saw him. I was scared to see him because he was a ferocious battler. He's this big guy from Boston. Nice guy though, sweetest guy, great guy. He had this reputation. So you wouldn't even know what these people looked like, but you had to go out to these different events. And I was lucky, and I could definitely direct like me getting better by going to. I was lucky to be around certain time periods for certain events. Like I used to go to a weekly event on Thursdays called the House Dance Conference in New York City, ran by the legendary Brian Green. And this event would be $10 to get into, and on one floor it'd be the best house dancers, jackers in New York City, tri-state area, getting down to the sickest
Mm.
house. And the bottom floor level would be the best poppers, lockers in the tri-state area. And I used to get down with so many people who became legends or legends that were already legends. Like Jazzy J would be there every week. You had Shallow coming on a regular from Boston, Link upstairs, Buddha Stretch. You know, these people were
Wow.
legends. Legendary battles they scheduled there. J Rock versus Shallow. My man, we talked about Tutting before. I have to give a shout out to Dementia. My man Chris, he used to live in New York City when he was getting down and got really big. He lives in Canada now. Guy's one of the most underrated, influential tutters ever. Look him up. Dementia, his name. First guy doing 3D tuts, all that stuff that's super popular
Mm.
now. And this guy used to also have popping and boog skills that he learned from Jazzy J. He was Jazzy J's student.
Mm.
So he combined both, and he won multiple contests. He almost beat Salah in B-Boy Summit one year. Great, great dancer. I used to get down with him there. So I was lucky. That event was amazing. It was good, dance events going on back then, along with, a good club scene and rave scene that you would get down to.
Mm. So were there also like you said like weekly events? Were there also like some festivals or some?
There was definitely some what we call they weren't called festivals really. There was like big parties, but there's a legendary few parties out of DC in the Baltimore area, thrown by this production company called Ultra World. One was called Starscape. It was under this bridge, and we'd go to the sunset. That was legendary, great scene, good dancers there. The biggest one probably it is actually called the festival. It used to be called the Detroit Electronic Music Festival, DEMF. Now it's called Movement. Same thing though. It's 3 days. It just passed in this Memorial Day weekend, and it's in Detroit. That is probably the best 3 day music festival I've been to. I've been to it 5 times, and a big focal point for liquid dancers, Digitz, and a lot of poppers, a lot of tutters out of the Detroit and Chicago, that area scene come there a lot. So I've had many good memories there and seen tons of good dancing. Actually, LPC one year went, and Animated Beat Mechanics went one year, and we got down the whole weekend. J Rock, Function, Great Waver, Great Liquid
Mm.
Head, the big name in the liquid world and the waving world. My man Mark, aka Function, you
Mhm.
know, Midwest, first guy I've seen to do like liquid threads.
Nice.
Do
Mm.
also threads, which is now everybody's doing. Big, you know, big concept.
Mm. So then, I'm also like curious, like, did you hear about like electro, the dance from Paris?
Yeah, been following some of that stuff recently. Been getting into it. I heard about it a while ago when it was coming out, but I've been seeing it now. And first, I love the music they dance to. There's always dope songs they're always getting down to, and I like it. It's like a mix of a lot of different dances that I do respect. It's got a lot of like whacking movements and voguing movements, tutting, obviously, some liquid. Yeah, I'm down with it. I'm down with the electro dance.
Nice. So when I was in Paris, like I also tried out take some classes, and I see like they like I would say like to all the like the rave scene, like the like to the electronic music,
Yeah,
there are people like either like have focused more on their arms or like there's also like shuffle and cutting shapes and
yeah.
like jump style, like some
It's
different.
one of those styles that's like mixing a lot of stuff together,
Yeah,
but
so
it's cool.
then this is like also like with the legs, like how is it like for liquid? Are you also like back then or like in general like some also some emphasis on
Yeah, well, that was a big thing. Like when it first started out, a lot of people weren't using leg work, and there isn't to this day what we would say is a foundational liquid footwork. It's kind of what you want to add to it. So I always say I like to add a bunch of different things from other styles I've learned, or like stuff,
mm,
other stuff you can see. My man Fu, who taught me, was very good also with glides. So he'd be doing glides with it, circular glides. I like to do floats just to move around, keep your feet on beat. So that's like the focal point of catching the beat while you're doing the liquid flow. I've used shuffling kind of moves with it from popping. Groundwork that I use from popping. I like to use boogaloo too, personally, because I don't see a lot of people do it a lot, but I think it's a two styles. If you can do it, get it off, can work well together. While the liquid is moving you, it's moving the hip roll, it's moving the leg rolls.
mm,
Uh, so yeah, that's kind of like the liquid footwork. It's like pick and choose what you're good at already and add something to it. But the key is not to lose, the liquid flow or the illusion of
mm,
the liquid. Doing like say step in or shuffle, and you're stopping the liquid every time you're shuffling. You want to you gotta like practice that going fluidly while the feet are still doing whatever.
nice. So that's yeah, that's very thoughtful, and then you have like so many possibilities, not only with your hands, but then also like with the legs, and wow, yeah.
Definitely.
And um like before you were like talk about like I think a quote about Bruce Lee. So do you follow like a specific philosophy in your style or like in dance, like in life in general with dance?
Yeah, said I'm not really a theologist or into like any one organized religion. I take stuff from I like from each one I hear. I do like a lot of stuff out of Zen teachings in Buddhism, and I read this book Zen Mind Beginner Mind when I was younger, and that's one of the quotes. Always have a beginner's mind, a student's mind. So I do definitely think that is if you really, especially in an older age like myself, I'm 46. You want to keep relevant in a dance. You want to be good, you want to still enjoy it. You got to have an open mind. You can't go, oh, I'm the OG, I'm better than everybody, or no one's better than me till I stop. No, you want to learn from people that are younger, have all these new ideas, concepts, and creativity. I feed off that personally. So that's a good concept to have. I'm a history major in college. That's my degree. So I respect history. That's one of the things I love about this dance, the culture, the history, learning about all the, legendary OGs, who inspired who. So I use those philosophies, those concepts, and it's why I'm still dancing from 1997, to now. And again, most of the time I'm not doing it for money. I'm doing it out of the love of the dance and the love of the culture.
Hmm, nice. Yeah, that's well said.
Yeah.
Mm, so, and for someone like maybe hearing all of this, like who is interested, like, do you have like first a specific like tip or like how to like where to get knowledge, where to
Well, before you even go out, you do live now. One of the benefits of the being in 2026 in the age we are, you can learn some foundational stuff online free. There is tons of videos out there on YouTube, tons of people's Instagram pages who are just giving away free little mini tutorials, how to do a proper rail, how to do hand flow, things that work like that. There's people with more advanced stuff, I think, with Patreon, stuff like that. I'm looking to go that route maybe in a little bit with a more advanced Patreon thing, be something like $5-6 with a month, but I would put up there multiple, detailed tutorials a month from intermediate to advanced, along with maybe some, edited videos and maybe some interviews I want to get into, maybe doing with legendary finger people and liquid people and poppers too. Since, I know a lot of people's being around so long, going to events. I've met a few people, down with some people. So yeah, that's where there's online. There's a lot of ways to start, but you don't want to just keep it there. Get some things going, get it foundational. If you have a scene in your area or close by, try to hit it up. Look for people teaching or look for privates. People do privates, and maybe look for some of the bigger festivals that maybe the dancers go to multiple times a year. I got to get back to that one in Detroit. I haven't been there in a while. I know dancing going on there. There's people definitely going there every year. And definitely look to the people that have been around a while and hit them up. Most people I know in the Liquid and Digits community are super friendly, super nice. You hit them up, DM them interested. They'll point you in the right direction, shoot you videos, help you out.
nice. Yeah. So, are you also have some other projects going on?
I don't really want to speak about, but I do have some creative ones. I'm trying to
Mhm.
get off the ground. I had a couple in my head for a while. I think I'm definitely going to go through at the end of this year. A couple of them are with other people,
Mhm.
also, people that's the field, same age. So yeah, look forward to that. Again, that might be connected to the Patreon thing I'm going to be doing, where
Mm.
I I'll put the full video on there and little snippets online, get people's interest going. But yeah, I'm trying to get the creative juices flowing. I have these ideas I've been sitting on. I'm going to try to get them going this year, and I'm really trying to get back full swing into the dance, this community again.
Nice. And I'm just like in that a thought that come up now, like how is like with the government, like nowadays or some years back, like how do they support like dance and like do they see this as an art form or like
Years back, yeah, but you talk about this country recently. I don't think they support the dance too much, but it depends on where you live. I live in the tri-state area in New Jersey, in New York. They definitely support dance. I know New York is definitely trying some nice creative things. With the Mayor Madani, he's trying to open a hip hop high school where it is going to be like you learn the basics, but it's also going to be a hip hop focus on like production, DJing, dancing, breakdancing. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, we're going through a little rough patch right now in America. I'm
hmm,
hoping we're out of that very soon, but yeah, it depends on where you are. You're in California. There's definitely support for dance, and dance is popular everywhere. I mean, we got some chaos going on over here, but people are still in America mostly good people, and we are into creativity and culture and art, cinema, stuff like that.
nice. Yeah. So to get like the more positive mindset again, like do you have like a important message to the general worldwide street dance community, like advice or encouragement, what you would
I
like
would
to give
just say
them?
keep doing your thing. That's why I'm going back into dance. One of the reasons, again, to get away from the chaos of the world. And I think art is a thing to combat. Just putting good art into the world or enjoying your art is something that you can do and control and help, make the world a better place, positivity wise, I guess, or even just send good vibes, how you would say it, into the world. Yeah. And I think it's just a good human nature thing that every person should delve in. It doesn't matter if you're even great at it or you get good, but you should delve into some art and express yourself artistically. It's one of the things that
Nice.
separates
Yeah.
us animals. You know what I'm saying? We do mostly animal fight, reproduce, eat, worry about this, that. But you don't see animals really do art. So, or produce a movie or, make music. I guess some
Nice.
do dance,
Yeah.
art, bigger brain ones, but yeah, that's why more art in the world better than what's going on, politically all over, not just in the States, but yeah, it's a chaotic time.
Yeah.
But I
Nice.
think I'm
Yeah.
positive mindset. I think everybody will be all right. We'll get through it.
Nice. So do you like we're coming close to an end, like is there something what you would like to say or like something like
Uh, First, thanks for having me. Great chat, great interview, great questions. I would just say to everybody out there, like I just said before, I love all the new interest in liquid, digits, finger tutting, finger styles growing. The popping's still going strong. Tutting is popular as ever. Keep it going. Keep it going. Keep learning different styles, different concepts from other people. I like also that's a lot better than it used to be. Like we talked about the cross of different worlds, like enjoying each other's art, adding it, and not like fighting and beefing and thinking one's better than the other. And all that because it is subjective. It's art, you know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, I've been enjoying. Again, out of just love and passion, been following the dance. I follow lots of people online, see tons of clip. It's mostly I try to keep my feed mostly dance. You know what I mean? Dance, art, positivity, and a lot of Knicks clips. I'm big into the Knicks right now from New York, obviously. So go New York Knicks, let's go.
yes. So yeah, we're very thankful to have you here and
Thank you for having my friend. Thank you. I
yeah, and
appreciate
I
it.
also would like to ask like how can people contact you? Like do you have like Instagram, Facebook
Yeah.
or something you would like to share?
You can link my Instagram that you have to if you want with the interview. They can hit me up on there. I have a YouTube page I don't really use. I might start a new one soon. Again, I'll probably advertise that on my Instagram page, and I'll also obviously advertise the Patreon when I
Mm.
get that going. That'll probably be a little down the line. I actually want to make it, not just me dancing in the background. I want to have well done clips, well done tutorials, and maybe some interesting creative stuff added to it. Make it worth, people tuning in and paying for it.
Nice. All right. So thank you for your time today. And I just want to remember that you find all podcasts on Spotify under Funk and Focus, Dance and Dialogue, and Funk and Focus YouTube. And yeah, thank you all for listening and see you soon. Bye.
Have a good one.
Nein.